How you guys doing? It is Tuesday, October 20th, 2020, here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of Elite, following Monday Night Football, I'm going to take you through the stat leaders through Week 6, just to show you how all these performers are performing as of right now at this moment of the season. Because teams are starting to go through bye weeks, the next week I'm going to pick up on is Week 9, because middle point of the season. But as of right now, through Week 6, just starting it off, looking at the passing leaders. So far, Dak Prescott from the Dallas Cowboys currently leads the league in passing yards with 1,856 through 6 games. In second place, it is Matt Ryan, the elite quarterback from the Atlanta Falcons, who has 1,843 so far. In third, it is Deshaun Watson, the elite quarterback from the Houston Texans, who has 1,786 on this season, despite the fact that his team is 1-5, same as Matt Ryan. In fourth place, you have Josh Allen from the Buffalo Bills, sitting with 1,711 yards, and sitting in fifth is the 2018 NFL MVP, the elite quarterback from the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, with 1,699 passing yards so far in the season. Really quick before I get to touchdowns and interceptions, going to give a quick look into completion percentage just to see how they're doing. So far, Derek Carr of the Las Vegas Raiders, out of all starting quarterbacks, at the best completion percentage. He's completing 73% of his passes. In second place, it is Russell Wilson, the elite quarterback from the Seattle Seahawks, with completing 72% of his passes, 72.8. And third is Drew Brees of the New Orleans Saints, who's completed 71% of his passes so far on the season. Sitting in fourth place is Teddy Bridgewater, the starting quarterback from the Carolina Panthers, who has completed 70.9% of his passes. And sitting in fifth so far this season, it is Ryan Fitzpatrick, the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins out of Harvard. He's completed 70.1% of his passes so far this season. Looking at the touchdown leaders so far, right now, Russell Wilson, the elite quarterback from the Seattle Seahawks, leads the league with 19 touchdowns on the season. Sitting in second is Josh Allen for the Buffalo Bills, who's currently sitting with 16. And Patrick Mahomes, the elite quarterback from the Kansas City Chiefs, is right now sitting on 15 touchdowns on the season. Tom Brady, the goated quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is sitting on 14 touchdowns on the season. And then sitting in fifth, tied for fifth with 13, you have Deshaun Watson, the elite quarterback from the Houston Texans, Aaron Rodgers, the goated quarterback from the Green Bay Packers, and Ryan Tannehill, who's been having an amazing season with Tennessee. Looking at the interception leaders, Kirk Cousins of the Minnesota Vikings leads the league with 10 interceptions on the season. Carson Wentz from the Eagles is second. He has 9. In third, you have Ryan Fitzpatrick of the Dolphins. He has 7. And then tied for fourth, there's a bunch of them. Phillip Rivers from the Colts, Kyler Murray from the Cardinals, Baker Mayfield from the Browns, and Daniel Jones of the New York Giants are all sitting on 6 interceptions on the season. Jumping out to most first down completions, because I don't know, that's a pretty interesting stat. Matt Ryan, the elite quarterback from the Atlanta Falcons, lead the league in first down passes. He has 94 of them. Dak Prescott from the Cowboys is second with 93. Joe Burrow, the first overall pick from the Cincinnati Bengals, is in third with 91 of them. Patrick Mahomes, the elite quarterback from the Kansas City Chiefs, is fourth with 90 of them. And then sitting in fifth is Gardner Minshew of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He has 88 of them. Looking at passes of 20 yards or more, the current leader of that stat goes to Deshaun Watson, the elite quarterback from the Houston Texans. He has 27 of them. And tied for second is Dak Prescott of the Dallas Cowboys and Jared Goff of the Los Angeles Rams. Both have 25 passes of 24 yards or more. Sitting in fourth is Matt Ryan, the elite quarterback from the Atlanta Falcons, who has 24. And then sitting tied in fifth, you have Patrick Mahomes, the elite quarterback from the Kansas City Chiefs, and Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills, who have both thrown 23 passes of 20 yards or more. Looking at the 40-yard passes, so far Dak Prescott leads the league with 6 of them, and tied for second, you have Ryan Tannehill of the Titans, Aaron Rodgers, the goated quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, Kyler Murray from the Arizona Cardinals, Jared Goff of the Los Angeles Rams, and Derek Carr of the Las Vegas Raiders. They're all sitting on 5 40-yard passes on the season. And so far, the longest pass of the season still goes to Big Ben. He has 84 of them. Or he had an 84-yard touchdown, I mean. And looking at to who's been sacked the most this season, right now Carson Wentz has been sacked 25 times, leading all quarterbacks. Joe Burrow of the Cincinnati Bengals is second. He's been sacked 24 times. Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans is third, who's led the league the last 2 seasons, by the way. He's been sacked 19 times, and tied for fourth is Gardner Minshew of the Jaguars and Daniel Jones of the New York Giants. Those are the passing stats really quickly. Looking out to rushing. So far, Derrick Henry, the elite running back for the Tennessee Titans, leads the entire league with 588 rushing yards on the season. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the rookie for the Kansas City Chiefs, is second in the league with 505. Dalvin Cook from the Minnesota Vikings is third with 489 yards on the season. Kenyon Drake from the Arizona Cardinals, after an amazing display, is now fourth in the league in rushing yards with 478 yards. And Ronald Jones from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is fifth in the league with 472 rushing yards on the season. Looking out to rushing touchdowns specifically, right now the leader of that stat is Dalvin Cook of the Minnesota Vikings. He has 7 of them. Tied for second is Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals, and Derrick Henry, the elite running back of the Tennessee Titans. They both have 6 on the season. And tied for fourth with 5, you have Cam Newton, the elite quarterback from the New England Patriots. Todd Gurley, the elite running back from the Atlanta Falcons. Ezekiel Elliott, the elite running back from the Dallas Cowboys. Aaron Jones from the Green Bay Packers, and Josh Jacobs from the Las Vegas Raiders. They all have 5 rushing touchdowns on the season. And your rushes of 20 yards or more, Nick Chubb has the most rushes of 20 yards or more. He has 6 of them. Lamar Jackson, the elite quarterback from the Baltimore Ravens, is second in the league. He has 5. Kyler Murray from the Cardinals and Ronald Jones both have 4 as well. And looking out to 40-yard rushers, Miles Sanders is the only player in the NFL who has 2 rushes of 40 or more yards. Miles Sanders from the Philadelphia Eagles. The longest run of the season has gone to Derrick Henry, a 94-yard run, which happened this past week. In terms of rushing first downs, Derrick Henry, the elite running back from the Tennessee Titans, and Dalvin Cook of the Minnesota Vikings, both lead the league with rushing first downs within 29 of them. Ezekiel Elliott, the elite running back from the Dallas Cowboys, is in 30, has 28 of them, and tied for fourth are Ronald Jones of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Kenyon Drake of the Arizona Cardinals, as both have 26 rushing first downs. Right now, Ezekiel Elliott, the elite running back from the Dallas Cowboys, currently leads the league in rushing fumbles. He has 4 fumbles on the season, and it's through week 6. And then tied for second, you have Drew Lock of the Denver Broncos and Tom Brady, the goated quarterback from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are both tied for second with 3 rushing fumbles, as a bunch of players have 2 fumbles on the season. Jumping to the receiving stats, DeAndre Hopkins, the elite wide receiver from the Arizona Cardinals, leads the league with 47 receptions on the season. Amari Cooper from the Dallas Cowboys is second with 46. Stephon Diggs from the Buffalo Bills is third with 42. And then tied for fourth are Allen Robinson from the Bears and Robbie Anderson from the Carolina Panthers. Both receivers have 40 receptions on the season. Looking out to yards, the elite wide receiver from the Arizona Cardinals, DeAndre Hopkins, leads the league with 601 receiving yards on the season. Robbie Anderson from the Carolina Panthers is second with 566. Stephon Diggs from the Bills is third with 555 yards. Calvin Ridley from the Atlanta Falcons is fourth with 546 yards. And Justin Jefferson from the Minnesota Vikings is sitting in fifth with 537 receiving yards on the season. Looking out to receiving touchdowns, Adam Thielen of the Minnesota Vikings leads the league in receiving touchdowns. He has 7 of them. And then in second is Mike Evans, the elite wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He has 6 of them and 22 receptions. And then tied for third with 5, you have Travis Kelce, the elite tight end from the Kansas City Chiefs. Robert Tonyan, the tight end from the Green Bay Packers. Jonnu Smith from the Tennessee Titans. And Calvin Ridley, the wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, and DK Metcalf, the wide receiver for the Seattle Seahawks, and Mark Andrews, the tight end for the Baltimore Ravens. Looking at receptions of 20 yards or more, Calvin Ridley of the Atlanta Falcons, CeeDee Lamb of the Dallas Cowboys, and Justin Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings all lead the league with 10 receptions of 20 yards or more. And then tied for second, you have Allen Robinson of the Bears, DK Metcalf of the Seahawks, Terry McLaurin of the Washington Football Team, Stephon Diggs of the Buffalo Bills, Brandon Cooks of the Houston Texans, and Robbie Anderson of the Carolina Panthers. They all have 8 receptions of 20 yards or more. Looking out to receptions of 40 yards or more, Henry Ruggs III from the Las Vegas Raiders is the only player in the league with 3 receptions of 40 yards or more, as a lot of players have 2 of them. Out of the players with 2, out of the elite, notable mentions include Julio Jones, the elite wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, DeAndre Hopkins, the elite wide receiver for the Cardinals, Mike Evans, the elite wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, And then looking out to the longest record of the longest reception of the season, as Ben Roethlisberger threw it, of course, it was Chase Claypool who received it. I forget which week it was, but that's been a record for a bit. Looking at reception first downs, DeAndre Hopkins is the elite wide receiver from the Arizona Cardinals, leading yet another statistical category with 31 reception first downs. Tied for second, you have Calvin Ridley of the Atlanta Falcons and Amari Cooper, the Dallas Cowboys, both sitting with 28 receiving first downs. Sitting in fourth is Tyler Boyd of the Cincinnati Bengals with 27 of them. And then tied for fifth are Terry McLaurin of the Washington football team and Travis Kelce, the elite tight end from the Kansas City Chiefs. And then currently looking out to just tackles, the defensive side. Eric Kendricks of the Minnesota Vikings currently leads the league in total tackles. He has 67 of them through 6 games. Blake Martinez of the Green Bay Packers is currently sitting at second with 64 of them. Jalen Smith of the Dallas Cowboys is third with 63. Zach Cunningham of the Houston Texans is fourth with 61. And tied for fifth, you have Roquan Smith of the Bears, Jordan Poyer of the Bills, Jordan Hicks of the Washington football team, and then Bobby Wagner, the elite linebacker for the Seattle Seahawks. They're all sitting with 52 total tackles on the season. Right now looking at solo tackles, Eric Kendricks of the Minnesota Vikings currently leads the league with 44 of them. Looking out to the sack leaders so far on the season, Aaron Donald, the goated defensive tackle for the Los Angeles Rams, after a performance in which he had 4 sacks last week, he now currently leads the league with 7.5 sacks. In second place, it is Myles Garrett, the elite defensive end for the Cleveland Browns. Jason Pierre-Paul is in third with 5.5, and then tied for fourth are the Zadarius Smith of the Packers, Emmanuel Ogbah of the Dolphins, Yannick Ngakoue, Brandon Graham of the Eagles, and Bud Dupree of the Steelers. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Yannick Ngakoue plays for the Minnesota Vikings. Then looking out to the interception leaders, Xavier Howard of the Dolphins and Kendall Fuller of the Chiefs are both tied for the league with 4 interceptions. And then in tie for third, you have Pierre Desir of the Jets and Carlton Davis of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are both tied with 3 interceptions so far. Looking at pick sixes, there are a bunch of players with 1 pick six, nobody with 2 yet. But of course, the longest interception return so far this season goes to Michael Davis of the Los Angeles Chargers. He has a 78-yarder. And last but not least, looking out to the field goals made, Joey Sly of the Carolina Panthers leads the league with 16 field goals, along with Rodrigo Blankenship. And then tied for second with 15, you have Jason Sanders of the Dolphins, Young Hui Ko of the Atlanta Falcons, Graham Gano. Graham Gano is currently playing with the New York Giants. And, of course, you have Randy Bullock of the Cincinnati Bengals. They all have 15 made field goals on the season. Jason Sanders is the only out of the players that I mentioned that's made all of his field goals. That's very wildly impressive. And then looking out to the best kickers from about 50 yards and beyond, the most field goals made was, or at least that one goes to Brandon McManus. As he made 5 of his 6 field goals from 50 or more. And the longest field goal so far goes to Harrison Butker of the Kansas City Chiefs. Butker made a 58-yard field goal on the season. And, of course, McManus and Zane Gonzalez were tied for the second longest. They both made 56-yarders. But that's what the NFL stats leaderboard is looking like through Week 6. Once again, it is Tuesday, October 20th, 2020, out here in this quarantine. I'm James Sims. I want to thank you once again for listening to my piece. And peace out.